Once there was a mother who knit sweaters for her daughter. When the daughter was small, the sweaters were small. As the daughter grew, so did the sweaters. When the daughter was old enough to talk, every time her mother gave her a new sweater, the daughter would say, "I like this sweater best, Mommy. Thank you." The mother continued making sweaters for her daughter, even after she had taught the daughter how to knit, even after the daughter was an adult herself. The last sweater the mother made for the daughter was a red sweater with a pattern of raised hearts across the shoulders. That sweater was warm and soft to the touch. When the mother gave that sweater to her daughter, the daughter said, "I like this sweater best, Mom. Thank you." Several months after the mother finished that sweater, she died. The daughter wore that sweater many times, and every time she wore it, she was reminded of her mother. The years went by, and eventually the sweater was worn out. When the daughter realized that, she said to herself, "I don't want to throw it away, but is there anything I can do with this?" She looked, and she thought, and then she smiled. "I can take the sleeves off and use the good yarn from the sleeves to mend the worn-out parts of the body of the sweater. Then I'd have a vest to wear." That's just what she did. And every time she wore that vest, she was reminded of her mother. The years went by again, and the vest got worn out. When the daughter realized that, she said, "Oh, I don't want to throw this away, but is there anything I can do with it?" She looked and she thought, and then she smiled. "You know, there's a lot of good yarn still left in this vest. I bet if I take it apart, I'll end up with enough yarn to make something." She ended up with a ball of yarn this big. "I could make a scarf out of that, and I'll put that pattern of raised hearts all over it." That's just what she did. And every time she wore that scarf, she was reminded of her mother. Once again, the years went by, and even the scarf got worn out. When the daughter realized it, she said, "Oh, I don't want to throw this out, but is there anything I can do with it?" She looked and she thought, and then she smiled. "You know, there is some good yarn still left in that. I'm going to take that scarf apart and see how much yarn I end up with." She ended up with only this much yarn. She looked and she thought, "I could make a Christmas ornament out of that." That's just what she did. She made a 4-pointed star out of it and put that pattern of the raised heart just in the center of that star. She knew whenever she put that ornament on her Christmas tree, she would be reminded of her mother. But it wasn't Christmas time. So she put that ornament away with her other Christmas ornaments and was left with just a piece of yarn this big. I mean, I could throw this away, but is there anything I could do with this? She looked and she thought, and then she smiled, because she was a storyteller as well as a knitter. And from that last bit of yarn, she made this story, and she knew that whenever she told it, she would be reminded of her mother.